My name is Christopher Bias.
My name is Genaro Jackson.
You are listening to the Power Your Story podcast.
Season 1.
These are our actual stories made by us
at Ray Grant Training Center in Chicago.
My name is Jasper, and today's episode is about how Christopher got a new set of wheels and how Genaro discovered he has autism.
Hope you enjoy this program. Hi, my name is Christopher Bias, and I'm about to tell you guys the story, the legendary story how I got this chair. The first day I got the news, in fact, was a day that I was in stretch therapy. A very nice man by the name of Brian. I'm going to give him an alias. His name is going to be Brian, but respect for his privacy. Brian came up to me and he asked me, "Are you Christopher Cruz Bias?" Yes. I said yes. He showed me a video of the first chair that his team developed, which is the Spider level 1. But the way that I seen that chair really excited me, and I wish I had one. And he asked me, "What is your favorite color?" And I say, "What kind of skins do you have?" And by skins, I mean colors. He told me red, yellow, green, and I asked him, "Can you leave the regular skin color?" And he said, "Yeah." The day that I went in, Brian, not really, he asked me, what kind of sports do you like? And I go like, I didn't have any sports in mind at that time. So he measured me up. He measured my seating. He measured my body height. And he said, "Which is your good hand?" And I gave him my good hand. Well, my good hand is actually my right. I gave him my right hand, and he said, "Hold my 2 fingers." And I gave him my 2 fingers, like, move them up, move them down, and move them left and right, so I can see how good you are. And ever since, I've been gifted this chair. It came on, if I'm not mistaken, it came on a fateful Friday, no less. And I came in Old Betsy. That's what I call my old chair. Ironically, that's what I call my old chair. Right now, in this moment, I'm learning how to drive this chair. And thank God I have already wounded it a lot. As I'm telling you guys, it is very, very... They threw me in this chair without any manual, without any license, without any training, basically. And I really have to thank these wonderful people at Creative Training Center High School for teaching me how to control different levels and the different buttons and the different hootenannies that this chair has. I really have to thank my mechanic Brian for doing the faithful measurements of my body for this chair. And I also have to thank Mrs. Burgess, which is the one person that I really, 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 really admire too, for training me how to do this. It's really an honor being taught by her 4 years, actually. My name is Christopher Bias. Go for it.
How does it feel to have your new wheelchair?
It feels pretty awesome for the most part.
Is it easy to steer or is it hard?
Kind of difficult, to be honest. For the most part, I crash this thing a lot, even though I'm not supposed to. As you can see, the marks.
That's okay. Do you see people's marks on their cars? Is it kind of like driving a car, you think?
Not really. It's kind of driving like a motorcycle for me. But still, marks are going to happen.
They are. You're right. What's your favorite part about having this new chair?
My favorite part, honestly, is having my independence. And my favorite other part is that I can actually rearrange myself without people rearranging my body for me anymore.
If you could say one thing to, was his name Brian, I think, what would you say to him?
I would say, personally, if it was me face to face with him, I would say, God bless you and thank you for the chair.
If you could say one thing to your mother, what would you say?
I would say this. I'm gonna put it in my language, by the way. Muchas gracias por todo lo que tú has hecho. Y sin ti yo no la pude tener. Y honestamente, discúlpame porque yo lo estoy chocando. Y gracias por esta oportunidad tan grande. Gracias, mamá. Que Dios te bendiga. Okay.
Okay. Do you want to add anything else about your chair?
Honestly, it's really a given, the ability that I have with this thing. Come on, I can turn it to 28 degrees if I wanted to. What you can do is, let me explain a little bit what you can do.
You're not going to run me over, are you?
No. Right now, as you can tell.
Oh, you can change the speed of your chair?
Correct, yes you can.
How did it feel taking your chair out on the CTA for the first time?
Good question. Yes, that question off the bat. Really felt nervous because I didn't want to crash into people.
And you didn't crash into anybody, did you?
No, not really, except for that last thing. Except for that last part. As you can see here, up to level 1.
So you have 5 speeds?
Yes. You got level 1, which is the slowest. Level 2, which is kind of fast. Level 3, which is going beyond level 2, of course. And level 4, which is going, as I like to call it, Super Saiyan mode.
And is number 5 where it pulled me down the street? Or was that level 4?
Was level 5 by accident.
It's okay.
But these bars right here, see, every time I push these, like, you see the
turtle.
The turtle, it represents how slow I can go. I'm going to demonstrate in person right now. If you can.
Okay. So which level do you use to cross the street to make it before the light? Or what level should you use?
I would use beyond this bar.
And what level do you use to just drive to class?
Number 2.
Okay. Very nice.
Stage 2.
Is this a horn?
Yeah.
Can you honk at people?
It's not that loud. It's loud and...
Can we hear it?
Sure. Yeah, it's loud in here.
Can you do it again? Have you ever honked at anyone?
No.
No? Okay.
But I have honked in the middle of the street.
Why were you honking in the middle of the street?
Because the cars were passing by and...
They weren't stopping? There wasn't a red light?
There was, but you know how these people are in Chicago.
They were blowing the red light?
Yeah, they were blowing it.
I don't know if they would hear that horn though.
I know, that's why. When I was, this is a real story, by the way. When I was there with my mother, I actually crushed her foot with this thing.
Your mom?
Yeah, I actually crushed her foot with this thing. That specific day, I had an appointment, and I was crossing the street, and I, by accident, dropped my phone because I was paying attention to the road and stuff. Thank God my phone had a case. And once I got to the crevice, I like to call it the crevice, the little entryway of where the cars pass through, I learned how to use the horn the proper way, and luckily there wasn't no cars, so I passed right away. And honestly, it's a gift from God, honestly. Even though I'm not so used to use him in school, but you know, have to break the rules sometimes, right? So, thank you.
Well, I'm glad you have your chair.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Hey everybody, Genaro Jackson here, and this is a podcast about what is autism. And actually, guys, I have autism, as you know, and I wrote information down about what it is. So this is what it is. Autism is a neurodevelopmental disorder characterized by impaired social interaction, verbal and nonverbal communication, and restricted and repetitive behavior. Parents usually know the signs in the first 2 years of the child's life. These signs develop gradually, though some kids with autism reach their milestones at a normal pace and then regress. And I have a side story about how my life was noticed with autism. So I was diagnosed at 3 years old with autism, Tourette syndrome, and ADHD. My family didn't know at first what it was until I was 3 years old, but my ears went deaf for a second and then came back. And then one day my grandmother took me to the doctor and I was considered having autism. So I was surprised. I didn't know that until I got older and I really understood what it meant. I have a story to tell about when I was little. I was about 6 or 7 years old. And one day I walked out of the house. I was at an older house. So I walked down the street. Well, it was a place called Orbit. So I went there and I didn't know any better. So I just went in that place. It was a place where you get stuff like chicken and stuff. So I was standing there. I was pointing at something in the menu. It was pointing at something that was red, which was a pop, a red soda pop, which I couldn't talk. I mean, I could only I couldn't really talk, but I was kind of mixture of little words. I was kind of stuttering. Then a woman came to me saying, "What you want?" And I said, "Hey, little boy, what are you doing here?" I was well, I was pointing to something like a red pop. She felt bad, even though I shouldn't be talking this range, but I didn't know that until she gave me a 25-cent quarter. So I paid for a red pop. It was cold. I was holding it. So then I was walking across the street, but I didn't really know the rules about how traffic was coming. I was kind of in the middle of the road. This is a story I didn't know when I was little until my grandmother told me about it. I remembered. And pretty much this is where I was in the middle of the street. And traffic was coming in and I was trying to make sure I don't get hit. But then all them cars kept coming and then my grandmother ran down the sidewalk trying to get me. She was walking me down the street. She was like, "Boy, I would not leave this boy my side again." So it's pretty much, it was kind of a little scary but interesting, funny story at the same time of what happened when I was 7 or 8 years old. When I was about 7 years old, I had speech therapy. I was able to talk and everything. I was at school when I was 5 years old at that time, but I was at preschool and wasn't talking much, but I started talking when I was in the first grade. Thanks to my family members, my grandmother and auntie, taking me to a speech therapist at my elementary school. Here I am at Ray Graham Training Center High School. While I have this disability, I learned that autism is not just a disability. It is accepted as an ability in great ways. My name is Genaro Jackson. I am 17 years old, and this is my story.
Thank you for listening to Power Your Story. Today's show was produced by
and Genaro Jackson with production support from School Matters and the Creative Impostor Studios.
If you love our show, ladies and gentlemen, please share it with a friend. And don't forget to subscribe to our channels on Apple Podcast, on Google Play Music, and Stitcher Radio.
Check us out on the web, poweryourstorypodcast.com.
And on Facebook and Instagram.
Thanks again for listening.
Have a great day. Peace.